Hey everyone, my name's Denovan and I am super excited to be talking to you here in England, United Kingdom about GPMS World. What is GPMS World? Well, it's the very first worldwide referendum. Your opportunity to give your voice, your agreement, your consent, your accord to create a new all-inclusive system. A new all-inclusive system that replaces the old power structures of the old. It replaces capitalism. It replaces these pointless laws and legislations that actually cause pressure, unhappiness, stress, and manipulation upon the people worldwide. The old systems basically are creating a few winners, but the majority are losers. And we're seeing this getting worse and worse. Look at the state of the planet. Look at how thousands of children die needlessly of starvation and lack, diseases that are easily curable. And why is that? Why is that happening? There is no reason for that to be happening. We've got more resources on this planet to feed and look after abundantly every single man, woman and child upon the planet 10 times over. In fact, even more than that, when you actually bring in new technology that can create even more abundance for even more people. This is a huge planet. It's rich with resources. So the problem is with the old system is it places the value in money, gold, precious metals, precious stones, oil, and these things where these are for us to live abundantly as God-given children and beneficiaries of this planet. We are the keepers of the earth. We're supposed to be free, but we don't have freedom. What we have is this enslavement. We have loans, we have mortgages, we have debt, we have taxes. We have to pay for our food, we have to pay for our healthcare. We have to pay for everything, and they're putting a cost on everything more and more, and the value on life is just going down and down and down. So we know that no one wants to pay debt. No one wants to have debt. What does debt do? How does it serve people? It doesn't serve anyone. Who do we owe this debt to? Do we owe it to Mars, Venus, Jupiter? Who do we owe it to, really? So we don't want taxes, we don't want debt, we don't want to pay for energy. Energy is something that we need to have to live comfortably. We don't want to pay for food. Why should we pay for food? We need food to live and survive. Healthcare. If we get sick, we should have free medicine, free whatever treatment that we need. If you're having any disability, it should be taken care of, just like that, instantly. And everybody should be supporting those people who are disabled. So we know that people who are disabled, people who are old, why do they have to work anyway? That's ridiculous. That's savage. Old people have given their contribution to society. We're here to enjoy life. We're here to enjoy this planet. Of course, we can contribute for as long as we wish. We can do as much work as we wish, but that should be our choice over and above what is necessary to actually look after the people and the planet. So with our new all-inclusive system, we're going to be giving every man, woman and child upon the planet firstly, an instalment that will basically put everyone into an instant state of comfort. Not just a basic living, but instantly comfortable. We're talking at the moment possibly, and this may change, about $20,000. Now it might not be dollars, it will be whatever the strongest currency is of the time. And obviously we'll be looking at inflation, so that figure may rise. But we're going to be fixing and freezing the price index of everything just before implementation. And as we do that, we're then going to find deflation occurs, because when you're not paying for a home, you're not paying for your energy, you're not paying for education, you don't have to save money for your pension, you don't have to save money to go on holiday, everything is free, you can travel across the world freely. Who doesn't want that? Do you want the old system, or would you prefer that system? I know that you want that new system. The question you'll be asking yourself now is, well, how can we have that system? How can we make it? And surely we're going to have opposition. No, we won't have opposition because everybody wants that. The elites would even have that, because at the end of the day, they're obviously got their power and control, and they've got an addiction to that right now, but they don't realise actually how beautiful the world is when everybody is happy and fulfilled. When everybody is happy and fulfilled, everything brightens up, everything lightens up, everything is beautiful. And we can untap all of the technology required to make this planet into such a utopia that you wouldn't even imagine. So we know that this is what you want. It's a case of how do we do it. We're going to tell you exactly how we'll do it. But yeah, old people, disabled people, they don't need to work anymore. and you're only going to need to work maybe 10 to 20 hours a month to contribute into society, just to sort of do things that society requires people to do. And the reason why you'll be able to work a lot less is because we'll have a lot more people not wasting their time in companies, corporations, industry sectors that are just created for profit for a few people. So those businesses, those jobs, they're no longer required. You're not going to be paid a salary anymore. You're going to get a monthly installment every month, and it's going to make you very, very comfortable. You'll just live very, very comfortably. You can go traveling, and it's going to be fully funded anywhere around the world, pretty much when you want. And you just have to contribute 10 to 20 hours a month to actually do good things for the planet. So we're flipping the tables. We're using money in all good ways for people and for the planet. And we're all just basically reducing that workload so that the balance of life is what it should be. And we're just going to create this beautiful world with technology that you just wouldn't be able to imagine, because there'll be no restriction on funding anymore. So we'll be able to create whatever we want. It's going to be absolutely amazing. It's so exciting. This is the future that the children should be looking forward to, not the one that they've been given, which is bleak. So you can see that this is a very, very simple choice. And then with the majority voice ruling, once we collect the voice and we've got a few billion agreements worldwide, we'll have more voices unifying than any one nation independently, any one country worldwide. So we'll be our own nation. And so we'll have the support of the people to be able to take back the infrastructure, the energy companies, the corporations, the land, the farms, and then we just work together collectively, community-based, to actually make sure that we can actually supply everything. And we've got all the skill set in the people to do that. We're already doing it. We're just not needing to do it under the employment of the country. So people don't realise this, but actually the countries around the world, they're actually corporations. Even when you own a business, you don't really own the business. The corporation of the country owns you. That's why you pay taxes. So we're getting rid of all of that, and we're going to create something new that's all inclusive, that's ours, that we share, and everything that you can imagine. You know, we don't have all big mansions to live in necessarily. We'll have beautiful homes, but you can stay when you want in beautiful hotels, cost-free. It's amazing. It's going to be so beautiful. And this is how do we do it? How do we create this new world that we're talking about? Very, very simply, really simply. We've already got all of the systems in place, all of the banking systems, you know, the means to transfer money from one person to another, from one account to another. And all of the banks do is they type in numbers in a screen and they transfer the money across. So once we've got the majority of the voice of the planet to create this new world, we have the support of the people. We have people in government, in military, in the army. They're supporting us. So we're not going to have any opposition because we're all beneficiaries of this. We are the keepers of the earth. And what we're creating is a beautiful earth where we can create solutions that just weren't possible before, because there'll be no restriction on funding. There's no loans, there's no mortgages, there's no debt, there's just unlimited funding. And so we have the support of the people, we get to a couple of billion votes, and we've got 3 phases of this divine plan. The first one is collecting the voice and spreading the word. So now you're understanding the simplicity of the choice that you're being asked to make. We ask that you give your agreement, but then also you share with everyone that you know this opportunity, so we get this done really quickly. It's not the governments that are doing this is us, the people that are doing it. So we need your help to actually really get this done really quickly. Because the longer things go on, the worse things get, the more people suffer, and it's just not necessary. And enough's enough. So the next phase, or phase 2, is with that support of the people, and we've got a couple of billion people or so, we're going to go into the media agencies and we're going to broadcast to the world, this is what's happening. We're going to be bringing in a new all-inclusive system, and we'll have all of the skill sets of the people in very high positions as well to help us with this implementation process. But what we're going to do is we're going to create bank accounts for everyone that doesn't have an account. Every child, even a 1-minute-old child, will have an account where they will have money be going into that account. And what will happen is your first installment will be probably about $20,000. It might be more, depends on what the strongest currency is, because we'll have one worldwide currency. There's no need to have all of these different currencies around the world because the countries aren't competing anymore. We just create what we need and we share what we need collectively around the world to support the people and the planet in the best way possible. So after that installment is received, and in return for that installment of money and your repetitive installments of money, which will be about $12,000 a month thereafter, you'll be asked to do a minimum amount of contribution, something like 10 to 20 hours a month. That's significantly less to what most people are working, who are doing 40, 50, 60 hours a week, because we'll have all of the people around the world now doing this, contributing. So you don't need to have old people working, you don't need to have disabled people working, and actually just having billions of people doing 10 to 20 hours a month is the same amount of resources and energy and time, when in fact it's more than actually what we've got now. So we can actually create this amazing world, and then we can create the technologies, robotics, things like that, that mean that we actually work less and less with time. Of course, we can create new simplified systems so that actually people who haven't been studying in a particular career path, say medicine for example, for 5 years, can still walk into a role and actually help and be able to do things, because there'll be technology to do a lot of it anyway, but then there'll just be the simple systems that allow them to do things that we weren't able to do before. So just like we didn't have the internet before, and we would never have been able to have a worldwide referendum like this before, we will have that stuff available because it'll be made available. Most technology is being suppressed at the moment because it causes a conflict of interest financially to the big powers of B. So obviously disempowering them and dismantling them and not having them existing anymore, we'll have the freedom to actually create free flow money and free flow funding for everything we need, research and then obviously the technology. And we'll be able to do all kinds of amazing things. Like I say, you'll be able to actually take seawater and create drinking water from it, so there'll be no shortage in water there. We can then turn deserts like the Sahara Desert into a beautiful plush lagoon with like lots of plantation rich with nutrients and animal life. We will transform this planet and it's just going to become a heaven on earth. So it's such a beautiful thing. And like I say, all of the skills are within the people to do this already. We're already doing it, we're just doing it under the employment of a country or a government, right? So what we're doing is we're just basically taking responsibility and self-governing ultimately, but we just have local administrations, the administrations that would basically coordinate, okay, we need some people to go and spend a few hours, this number of people spending a few hours doing these types of roles here, to obviously build back these parts into a new, better way, and these new housing, which is going to be beautiful. And then the super rich people that have had like, you know, thousands of acres of land, they're not going to have that now because that isn't serving anybody. Everybody will basically have, you know, some space and they'll be able to live very comfortably. We'll have rich spaces where we can share and enjoy and play in those spaces. And we'll have the farmland that's used to obviously cultivate and harvest everything that we need. And we're going to be bringing back all of the heirloom seeds so that we'll have more, you know, of the original seeds that are abundant. Every time you use the seeds, you can then obviously produce, you know, fruits and vegetables, and then the next year use the seeds from those fruits and vegetables again and again and again and again, and just keep on growing and exceeding it. So there's no shortage of anything. The pollution and everything, we're going to have systems to create really neat ways and clean ways to actually resolve that pollution problem. Again, the issues came with restriction on funding, so now we don't have restriction on funding anymore. All of that stuff is solved. In terms of the law side of things, people wonder, well, what about all these legislations? Don't we need them? Don't these legislations protect people? No, they don't. They actually cause a lot of stress and a lot of pain for no reason. The only law that counts is do no harm to another, and providing you don't do any harm to another, you can have all of the freedom that you wish. You know, now let's just take an example. If you are, you know, wanting to drive your vehicle at 150 miles an hour because you like to drive fast, we all know what is morally and ethically right, and that we must obviously protect our brothers and sisters. So we don't need to rush around anymore because we're not working in the corporate capitalism world anymore. So what we do is we say, well, if you want to go and race a vehicle, there is a risk to that. You go to a racetrack, which we've got obviously, and we've created for people to go and do that sort of thing. And you can have great fun doing that, but there is a risk. But the risk that you're placing on yourself and on others is one that you've chosen to make, as well as the others that have also chosen to make that, racing with you. So you don't go on a public highway and drive at 150 miles an hour in this new world, because you aren't being responsible and you're not being fair to your brother and sister, placing them at risk to do that. Yes, there could still be accidents. Accidents can still happen. And do we need insurance? Well, no. The insurance will be produced because we will have free flow funding. So if there is any accidents and there is any awards that need to be paid to anyone for losses or damages in that sense, it will always be covered because we're activating our intrinsic value, which is infinite within us. There is no kind of, oh right, there's still going to be evil ones though that are greedy and they're going to want more. You know, although we're saying that everyone that has achieved a lot and they've been successful and they've acquired wealth and they'll have their wealth transferred over into the new world at par with what it was. In the new world, essentially, we're not going to actually see value in money anyway anymore. You'll be sharing everything. You'll be able to share a Lamborghini Diablo or whatever your favourite car is, Maserati or whatever it might be. And we'll be able to share these things because we can create them as we wish and there's no competing anymore because everybody is equal. This is the beautiful thing about this new equal system that we're creating. So I wanted to share with you that detail. Like I say, we know exactly what we're going to do as we're going through the phases. We're going to freeze the price index of everything, so there's not a sudden rise in pricing, but we'll see a deflation occur because when you're not paying for a home, energy, food, water, healthcare, education, pensions, tax, not having debt, not having loans, any of that stuff, the other things that aren't really essential anymore, the price of those things drops right down. And of course, we will be wanting to filter out some of those non-essential goods potentially that are causing harm to the planet and really are just a waste. You know, if you want to have a mobile phone, you want to have internet, you'll have all of that stuff, just like anyone else can have it. Because they shouldn't have something that you can't have. Why should that be? That just doesn't add up. That's what causes the crime. That's what causes the disparity in, society. You know, when we create this love and abundance and equality for everyone, there's nothing to fight for anymore. There's no war anymore. What do people go to war over? Money and resources. Well, there's no value in the money and resources anymore and we're sharing everything. So there's nothing to fight about anymore. So it's a beautiful world. It's a very simple choice. And we create this new world simply by our voice, our agreement to do it. And then we just implement it. So it's as simple as that. Nothing to actually debate about it. If you feel that, oh, I don't see how this could really happen, there's going to be people that are going to try and stop it. No, it's down to consciousness and rising the consciousness up, helping people actually use their imagination to actually imagine what a beautiful world this will be. And that actually all that we need to do to create it is to agree to do it together and we'll do it. And that's it. So anyone that's got any doubt as to whether it's possible or not, well fine, if you're not quite believing that it's quite possible yet, that doesn't stop you from giving your agreement and choosing to create it. Watch what happens when you do that. Watch what happens when you share it with other people. Watch what happens when you use this video and actually help them start to use their imagination a bit. You see, the imagination is the most powerfulest thing. It's what starts every single creation. Nothing has been created without imagination. That's why we have inventors that are inventing all kinds of gadgets and things that we never even thought about before. They had the imagination to create it, and then because they had the imagination, because they took the action, they didn't let anything stop them or hold them up from actually working on it, they created it. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So everything starts with an idea, everything starts with imagination, and whatever you imagine is possible. Actually, it's just a case of proving it to be. And everything that was once impossible becomes possible. And this is the new world that we're creating. So thanks again for watching this video. I hope you found that helpful. And obviously I look forward to answering any questions you got and look forward to seeing you helping us as a guardian upon the planet, spreading the word, collecting the voice and getting this done.